सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Today I will give you a summary of 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Second chapter of this Bhagavad Gita is known as Upakrama Samkshepaha, means introductory conclusion. That means Samkshepaha means a summary, introductory summary we can say. Not conclusion, introductory summary. Upakrama Samkshepaha. The same second chapter summary is magnified from 3rd chapter to 17th chapter. And the 18th chapter is known as Upasamhara Samkshepaha, concluding summary. Upasamhara Samkshepaha. Samkshepaha means summary. Upasamhara means concluding summary. So second chapter is introductory summary. 18th chapter is concluding summary. In between, the teaching is magnified. That means the second chapter and 18th chapter, or that entire teaching is given in summary form. So therefore these two chapters are very, very important. Second chapter and 18th chapter. Because the entire teaching comes in one chapter. This chapter begins with Arjuna's question regarding sannyasa. This is the biggest chapter, like second chapter, longest chapter, and with the 78 shlokas fully. And Arjuna starts his question, what is the difference between sannyasa and tyaga? There are two words generally used in the meaning of renunciation. Sannyasa means renunciation. Tyaga also renunciation. These two words, is there any difference? Some people say there is a difference. Arjuna wants to know what is the difference between tyaga and sannyasa. Some philosophers, they give a different opinion. There is a difference between sannyasa and tyaga. Dictionary wise, you see, both are renunciation only. Sacrificing. Tyaga means sacrifice. Sannyasa means sacrifice, renunciation, leaving, detachment and all. Dictionary wise same meaning, but there is a slight difference is there, some philosophers say. But according to Lord Krishna, both are one and the same. Both are one and the same. Renunciation means renouncing one's own family, renouncing one's own duties. Sannyasa means exact meaning is renouncing one's own family relations, possessions and profession. Everything you have to renounce and take ashrama sannyasa. A person who change his dress, relinquishing all Vedic karmas, rituals. No ritual at all, no family, no children, no possession, nothing. That is called ashrama sannyasa. Turiyam ashrama. Turiyam na fourth one anartha. Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and sannyasa ashrama. This is called monastic life, they call. monk's life, monastic life. Parivrajaka. They roam all over the world. The second meaning of sannyasa is, Lord Krishna presents, this is Vahya sannyasa. What is that? Monastic life, renouncing everything, Vahyam. Everything, all rituals, changing the dress, everything. This is called Vahya sannyasa. Whereas there is another sannyasa, hey Arjuna, that is Antara sannyasa. Antara sannyasa, in which a person need not renounce his family, profession, relations, everything he can keep as it is. Even he need not change his dress also. He can very much be there in his own grihastha wherever he is. But this person also can become a sannyasi by giving up kartrutva abhimana. I am the doer. That abhimana, that identification. By giving up that abhimana, kartrutva bhavana, I am the doer identification. Then I am the enjoyer. This bhavana also he gives up. Bhoktrutva bhavana, that is also a sannyasa. Really speaking, that alone is real sannyasa. Antara sannyasa. Antara sannyasa means internal renunciation. This is the first topic Lord Krishna discussed in the 18th chapter. So we can see the 5 topics in this 18th chapter. First topic about sannyasa. From first shloka onwards up to 12th shloka, this is the topic, sannyasa topic. And very, very carefully we have to understand when we are studying scriptures, especially the interpretation of scriptures. If you don't understand properly, there is a possibility of misconceptions, and our life direction also will be going out of track. So scriptures are always have two edged knife. Two sides, there are edges in a knife. Appadiyo appadi shastram. You have to understand carefully. Sannyasa ashrama, we interpret this Vahya sannyasa is prescribed for only few people, not for all people. It is not compulsory. Vahya sannyasa is not compulsory. So this is the first topic, sannyasa topic. Let me give all the topics so that we can dwell upon that. Second topic is, I will explain further about sannyasa. Second topic is Atma Swarupam topic. Atma Swarupam, individual nature, the nature of the self. From 13th shloka to 17th shloka. Then third topic is from 18th shloka onwards up to 40th shloka. Lord Krishna analyzed important values. 6 topics he analyzed based on 3 gunas. 6 topics he separately discussed. Then fourth topic from 41st shloka onwards up to 66th shloka, description of karma yoga and jnana yoga. Description of karma yoga and jnana yoga. Then the last and final topic is from that 67th shloka onwards up to the end, upasamhara, winding up of the dialogue. Now each topic just we are going to see. First topic is sannyasa topic. This sannyasa means external sannyasa is prescribed by Shastra only to those people who are having adhikara. Adhikara means qualified and purified. The person who is purified, who is mature, and who is having sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Viveka vairagyam shamadamadi shatka sampatti mumukshutvam, who is having abundantly. For that person only external sannyasa is prescribed, not for all people. This bhahya sannyasa is prescribed by Shastra. He can take or she can take that sannyasa. But generally, maximum percentage, antara sannyasa is good for all people. Even bhahya sannyasa, whoever take, she also need antara sannyasa. So, antara sannyasam is the primary sannyasa, compulsory sannyasa. It is must for every seeker. Bahya sannyasa is not compulsory, but antara sannyasa is compulsory. What is antara sannyasa? That means a grihastha can be there with his family, and he can disidentify with his all roles. He can perform all his roles, but at the same time without any attachment. That is the Bahya Sannyasa Lakshanam. According to Krishna, Arjuna is not mature enough to take Bahya Sannyasa, because Arjuna has got lot of abhimana towards his family members. Arjuna is not ready to renounce his family members. So Arjuna is fit enough to take to antara sannyasa only, that is safe, not bahya sannyasa. Oh Arjuna, you are not supposed to give up your family, not supposed to give up these social duties, therefore you have to continue. Arjuna is not qualified. Therefore here Lord Krishna ingeniously ignore that bahya sannyasa. He never brings that topic in this Bhagavad Gita. Not only that, he condemns also. Na niragnir na chakriyaha is not a sannyasi, and he criticizes Pandavar. He want to encourage Arjuna. Arjuna, you can be a sannyasi, no? Not by just renouncing the ritual, Agni rituals and all. You can be a real sannyasi, and he is highlighting that sannyasa. This is what we have to understand. Contextually, we have to interpret. There is no contradiction in Shastra. There is contradiction in our minds. No? And the contextually, we have to interpret, and based on the audience, people who are all here, listening here, according to that, you have to interpret. Who is sitting in front of Arjuna, Lord Krishna? Who is standing asking? Arjuna is a Mahagrihastha, not ordinary Grihastha, Mahagrihastha. So when he is addressing Arjuna, Lord Krishna is not supposed to talk about Bahya Sannyasa. Okay? Therefore, Lord Krishna highlight the Antara Sannyasa. This is the intelligence of a teacher. No? So, teacher should not talk whatever said in Shastra. Teacher should present that teaching which is useful to that student who is standing or sitting in front of the teacher. That is what Lord Krishna doing here. So we have to note that point, how Lord Krishna giving Mukhya Sannyasa is Bahya Sannyasa, but Antara Sannyasa is ideal for many people. This is about the sannyasa topic, ashrama sannyasa topic. Since Arjuna is having lot of attachment towards his family and friends and relatives, Arjuna, you take antara sannyasa. It's no taking. Antara sannyasa you need not take, you cannot take from outside. It is an internal attitudinal change. Antara sannyasa is an attitudinal change. Therefore, you see some people, even though they are in family, rest ashrama, they live like a sannyasi. How they live in like a sannyasi, they don't have any patr. Patr illamal, they like a lotus leaf they live. Like lotus leaf and the water eppadi without touched by that, the leaf. Like that, these people also live in the family. So therefore, mainly Bhagavad Gita is for Grihastha ashramas. Lord Krishna also Grihastha. Arjuna is also Grihastha. Therefore, Lord Krishna is highlighting that. Not only that, Lord Krishna said in the first topic, it is improper to take Bahya Sannyasa without mental maturity. There are problems in the family. Wife is fighting with me, children are fighting with me. That a member, the householder should not go and take sannyasa. That is wrong interpretation. It's the wrong decision. It is improper. And it leads to confusion, delusion also. Out of burden in the family, a person is not supposed to take sannyasa ashrama. With viveka, he has to go and take. Now, out of discrimination, knowledge, he has to go and take sannyasa, not to run away from the family. Generally, people do that. Maximum, sannyasa means what? Idhukada problem irukka, po sannyasa eduthuko. Podu kavi. Kavi dress is not meant for that, to run away from the family. The sannyasa ashrama is meant to study scriptures, so that you get solitude, so that you can spend more time for study, and thoroughly you go through the Shastra study, so that you can get self-knowledge. For that sake only sannyasa ashrama. Clear? So therefore, Lord Krishna says it is improper, Arjuna, with raga dvesha, a person is having likes and dislikes. Predominantly, a person is having likes and dislikes, conditions, so many, preference, ishtam, raga, dvesham, likes and dislikes. That person is not fit to take sannyasa. Therefore, Arjuna, you have lot of raga, dvesha, inge iru. You can fight here. But that sannyasi, whatever he gets, that phalam you also will get by antara sannyasa. So, kartrutva, bhuktrutva, tyagena. So, tyaga and sannyasa both are synonyms according to me. This is the first topic. Sankalpa tyaga purvaka swadharma anushtanam is called antara sannyasa. Sankalpam tyaga purvakam. Karma phala tyagam pannanam. That is the nijamana sannyasam. Sankalpa tyaga purvaka swadharma anushtanam is called antara sannyasa. There are no sankalpas. What do you want? I don't want anything. I do all my duties for family, for society. As a citizen of this society, as a member of the family, I do my duties, but I don't have any expectations. He is not a sannyasi. That person is sannyasi. Ada sankalpa tyagam. But swadharma anushtanam. Therefore, Arjuna, your swadharma is to fight in the battlefield. You continue your swadharma. In other words, you can say samatvam. Samatvam is called sannyasa. A sannyasi is one who is having samatva buddhi on all occasions, on all people, even-mindedness. This is called sannyasa. If you have this samatva buddhi, equanimous mind, while doing interaction with the world, you are a real sannyasi. Unperturbed mind, undisturbed mind, a calm mind is called a sannyasi mind. That is important, most important for what? Mukti. Bahya sannyasa alone cannot guarantee mukti. Remember, if you wear only saffron clothes, mukti won't come. Okay? Saffron cloth is one plus point to can have a solitude life. That's all. Okay? Therefore, Lord Krishna encouraging all grihasthas. His party, his grihastha party. Now, second topic, 13th shloka on to 17th shloka, Atma Swarupam. 5 verses Lord Krishna presenting the nature of Atma. The nature of everyone's self is a pure consciousness. 13th to 17th shloka. What is the nature of consciousness? Consciousness is not a part of the body. I the consciousness and cholanu. I the consciousness, I am not the part of the body. I the consciousness, I am not the product of the body. I the consciousness, I am not the property of the body. This is the first feature of my real nature. Then what is the second feature of my real nature? I the consciousness enlivens the inert body mind. I the consciousness enlivens the inert body. Because of me the consciousness body is alive. This is the second feature. Third feature of whom? Third feature of mine. Okay. Mine. Third feature is I the consciousness am not limited by the boundaries of the body. I the consciousness, Atma, is not limited by the boundaries of the body. The fourth feature is I the consciousness am surviving even after the fall of the body. I the consciousness, Atma, am surviving even after the fall of the body. Then fifth feature is I the consciousness am not available for transaction after the fall of the body. I the Atma, I am not available for transaction. When body is available, I am available for transaction. But I survive even after the death of the body. These are the 5 features of Atman. And finally also one more we have to remember. My feature is I am Akarta Abhokta. I the consciousness am not the doer. I the consciousness am not the enjoyer. Then who is the doer? Who is the enjoyer? Body, mind alone. Body is the enjoyer. Mind alone is the enjoyer. And Bhokta, Karta both belong to medium only, not to me. Here when we say me means we take generally body-mind complex. Shastra says you are not body-mind complex, you are enlivening the body. When you sit in the car, you are not the car. You are not the car. You are the owner of the car. Similarly, I am the owner of this body. Owner of this body. Just immediately you see what you see in a car only you see. But driver, those are sitting in that Yajamana is not visible. No? Immediately. Similarly, Atma is not visible. What you see only car outside. Adi madri I am using the body. This is the fact. If I know this fact, there is no dukkha in life. This is called Amritattvam. This knowledge alone is called immortality. So I the consciousness, I am enlivening the gross body and subtle body. Ahankara, Manasu, Buddhi, Chitta, all indriyams are my instruments. Nan Swami, I am the Griha Swami. Griham is your residence. Just as you, the house owner, stay in the house, you are Griha Swami. You are using the house. Similarly, I am a Sharira Swami. Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya. I am the Sharira Swami. Sthula Sharira, Sushma Sharira, Karana Sharira, Swami I am. But I am living as what? Asami. Okay, I am living as Asami, always with full of sorrow, emptiness. ஏதோ ஒரு குழப்பம் சுவாமினி எவ்வளோன்னா சொல்லுங்க சாஸ்திரம் ஆனாலும் சுவாமினி எத்தனை ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் இருக்குன்னு ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லைன்னு யார் சொன்ன ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் இருக்கு எங்கே இருக்க ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ்ன்னா As long as you have Sthula Shariram, Sushma Shariram, body, mind, complex, problems are galore, inevitable. No, where Shastra said you are free from problems from body, mind standpoint. No one is free, including a Jnani also. As long as he or she lives in the body, there are problems. Physical problems are there. Mental problems, சொல்லவே வேண்டாம், emotional problems எக்கச்சக்கமா இருக்கும். ஒன்றும் இல்லை, இட்ஸ் லைக் a துஃபான் மாதிரி. Okay, it is like a cyclone. The cyclone, in the eye of the cyclone, center point is very calm. Like this, in the mind body complex cyclone problems, and the middle or center point, eye center point is eye the consciousness. All cyclones are coming in me only. All cyclones are disappearing in me only. நான் இல்லைன்னா கான்ஷியஸ்னஸ் இல்லைன்னா சைக்ளோனே வராது இல்லையோ. முக்கியமா சைக்ளோன் இஸ் எ ட்ராமா. இஸ் இட் தட்? அவர் லைஃப் இஸ் எ ட்ராமா. என்ஜாய் காமெடி அண்ட் ட்ராஜடி. ஓகே, லைஃப் இஸ் லைக் எ சீரியல். The whole serial is so comedy. எல்லாமே காமெடி இருக்கு. Who will see that serial? Full of comedy. Everything is fine, everything is fine. Nobody will see that serial. And you are eagerly waiting what is going to happen to the heroine, what is going to happen to that hero, how villain is going to attack. Idella irundana you are very eagerly sitting in front of that serial to see some climax, tragedy, some problem should be there. அது மாதிரி லைஃப் ட்ராமால கூட அப்படிதான். ஞானிக்கு எல்லாமே ஒரு ட்ராமா தான். ஸோ இஃப் யூ பிகம் ஏ what you can call like an audience madri, you have to sit in front of the TV serial and you are watching the TV. So look at your body mind complex as a TV and you are watching. You are the witnesser of your own life drama. This is what fact. Okay, I mean kada sollala nan, idudha unmai. Adanaல அந்த சீரியலை விட இந்த சீரியல் you enjoy. This is called my Atma nature. All the actions, activities, functions are done by the body-mind complex. I am blessing the body-mind complex. I am untouched by that. Just as I am creating the dream and I am only enjoying the dream. What dream? All nice dreams you enjoy. Nightmares also you enjoy. Everything comes. But after waking up, and you laugh at all the dreams. Is it not? Like that you can watch your... Even Punya Papa also cannot touch me. All Punya Papa all belong to the body-mind complex. Not me. I am free from Punyam Papam. Na Punyam, na Papam, na Saukhyam, na Dukkham. This is whose nature? Atma nature. This is my nature. This is my true nature. If I understand this is my nature, there is no sorrow in our life. For that sake only Bhagavad Gita study. Your face is always gloomy, never gloomy. Even that gloomy comes also not true. You just act. Just act. Illa action da. Ellame action. Without disturbing your inner tranquility. This is possible. Okay. Third topic. Adhikaha Bhagavad Gita. Until I get that status, I don't feel bored to study Bhagavad Gita. I am not tired of studying Bhagavad Gita until I get this nishtha. Anandam. Swarupam Anandam. Moreover, I am not tired of studying Bhagavad Gita. Lifelong, let it take time. I don't mind. Now third topic from that shloka up to 40th shloka, from 18th shloka onwards up to 40th shloka, his elaborate discussion here. 6 topics Lord Krishna is going to talk. Very important portion based on 3 gunas. What are those 6 topics? Number 1 is jnanam. There are 3 types of jnanam. And there are 3 types of actions, karma. There are 3 types of doers, karta. There are 3 types of intellects, buddhi. 5th one, there are 3 types of dhriti, willpower. 6th one is, there are 3 types of sukham, happiness. So, jnanam, karma, karta, buddhi, dhriti, sukham. 3 types means sattvika jnanam, rajasika jnanam, tamasika jnanam. Sattvika jnanam is that by which a person grows spiritually. A spiritual upliftment takes place when person is having sattvika jnanam. Any sattvik, now you can see all the 6 topics. Sattvika jnanam, sattvika action, sattvika karma means sattvic action, sattvic performance, the doer, sattvic doer, sattvic intellect, sattvic willpower, dhriti, sattvic sukham, happiness. All the sattvic are directed the person to spiritual upliftment, spiritual growth, ananda, happiness. Therefore, Arjuna, may you have the sattvic nature. Sattvic nature, sattvika guna is that which helps to the person to get self-knowledge. Whereas, rajasika jnanam, rajasika karma, rajasika karta, rajasika dhriti, rajasika buddhi, rajasika sukham, all are this spiritual stagnation. He may be active person, doing lot of social service, heavy social service, and a lot of intelligence is there. Rajasika jnanam, rajasika sukham, happiness also is there, but the spiritual stagnation. He cannot go further. A hyperactive person, a hyperactive intelligence, a performer, I am doing that. Kartrutva bhavana is there, and a lot of willpower also is there, and dynamic person. Even though they are all there, plus points for materialistic growth. Wonderful. That person become a successful person from the standpoint of corporate ladder. 2 cars, 3 houses, or farmhouse. All these are there, but that person's spiritual growth is stagnated. He cannot get Atma Jnanam, impossible. Therefore, he has to come to sattvic nature. Whereas tamasika jnanam, tamasika karta, tamasika karma, tamasika dhriti, tamasika sukham, all are, there is a spiritual downfall. There is no materialistic growth also, but spiritual downfall also. In rajasic, materialistic growth is there, spiritual stagnation. Whereas in tamasic, no materialistic growth, no spiritual growth, not growth, but downfall. It takes many janmas for that person. What is Rajasik, Tamasic, Sattvic? Care of 14th chapter, 17th chapter. Okay? So you can look into the 14th and 17th chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Of Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, if you are a Tamasic person, convert yourself into Rajasic. If you are a Rajasic person, convert yourself into Sattvic. If you want free from sorrow. If you want to be free from sorrow, you have to become a Sattvic person. No other way. That's why introvert. You become introvert. You become more extroverts towards the body, mind, relations, people, all these things. The world, it is temporary. How much you would have possessions, family, profession, all these things, they can never satisfy you. On the other hand, they always keep you always in emptiness, dissatisfaction. You don't feel happy at all. Therefore, Arjuna, may you become Sattvic. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. This is the topic Radha Krishna highlighted in the 3rd topic as the 6 topics he has presented. Spiritual growth is very important in one's own life. At least if you come at early age, wonderful. If you are not able to come at early age to spiritual life, doesn't matter. At least after certain age, after your responsibilities are over some extent, say goodbye to that family. I have taken up lot of advantage, benefit also. I have grown up. Say goodbye to that family relations. Mature enough. Grow gracefully. When the hair is graying, you have to grow gracefully. Next topic. Fourth topic is from 41st shloka onwards up to 46. The central theme of the topic. Here, two important topics Lord Krishna is going to highlight. Those two topics are, one is Karma Yoga, number two is Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga Sadhanam and Jnana Yoga Sadhanam for spiritual journey. What is Karma Yoga? Proper attitude and proper action. Proper action one has to choose to perform. My duty towards my family, towards my society, towards my culture, towards my religion. I have to do my duties at the same time with the proper attitude. Proper attitude and proper action. Proper action is called, both put together, Karma Yoga. Proper action is called Ishwararpana Buddhi. When you perform any action, you are doing that action only as your duty that is prescribed by the Lord. Ishwararpanamastu, Krishnarpanamastu. Having educated your son or daughter, you say, Krishnarpanamastu. This job I have done, I bring up my children in education. I take care of this responsibility as my duty given by the Lord. This is called proper action. What am I doing towards my husband or mother-in-law, father-in-law, or any member of the family, or to my society? Ishwararpana Buddhi. While doing those actions, I get results. Phalam also comes. While I am receiving the phalam, I take that phalam as prasada. Phalams may be pleasant, favorable, sometimes they are unpleasant also. Many times unpleasant. Okay, unpleasant also. However much I take care of this body, troubling, no? Many times, how much I am taking care of, still cough coming. So, this is got prasada, because it has got its own limitation. Okay. So, every relation, when I am interacting with the people, that I reap the result. Phalam kandipa varum. Unpleasant, bitter phalam also comes. So, I take both of them equally. When nice result comes, I praise myself. This is my greatness. I have done so much. I have a lot of, spent time for my daughter, son, husband and all. That's why they have come up and I praise myself. And if it goes unpleasant way, bitter way, then I blame the Lord. I don't blame myself that time. Why? I want somebody, a scapegoat, to scold. That Lord, I will shout at him and all. This is not right way. A mature person never does this way. What a mature person do? No, whatever phalam comes, let it come. Okay? This is a prasada. I have to undergo this bitter experience also. It is a lesson for me. I turn all adverse situations into advantages. Turning all adversities into advantage, one's own advantage. It is a lesson for me. Let me learn. I take it as a prasada. That's why if anybody throws bricks upon you, you construct a building. சொன்னோம் அது ப்ராவர்ப் இருக்கு. Anybody throws bricks on you, what do you do intelligently? Don't pile up those bricks and look at them. See how many people are criticizing me, how many people are blaming me. Don't look at them like that. Intelligently arrange those bricks and construct a bungalow. Okay, you can stay. Like that, anybody criticize, blame, or any time, so all insults you take and grow in that. Grow in that. And you, on the other hand, you have to thank them. Okay, you thank them. Oh people, you have helped me to grow. This is called prasada buddhi. This is called karma yoga. It refines the person, mind. Then comes to the jnana yoga. Lord Krishna says, Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. By doing one's own duty, you will get a lot of vairagyam also. Nice renunciation comes, vivekam comes. Okay? Then person is fit enough. That is the second part of this is called Jnana Yoga. Third topic, second part is called Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga sadhanam purifies the mind, refines the mind, gives maturity to the person. Therefore, don't run away from difficult situations. If you start running, monkeys will chase you. Okay, even dogs will chase the person. You have to turn your face and look at those dogs and monkeys, they run away. All problems are like dogs and monkeys, they are chasing. You look at them, you face them, they will subside. Then that gives a nice lesson to our life. So that person is fit for Jnana Yoga. Maturity comes. What is Jnana Yoga sadhanam? In spiritual journey, one has to study consistent, systematic study of scriptures, Vedantic scriptures, and a competent, alive teacher for a length of time, for 10 years. We have completed Gita course, 10 years. Another 10 more years, one more course we are going to start. Okay, we are happy now, we are fresh enough to again take that Gita teaching further. This is called Jnana Yoga, first step. Shravanam. Then comes Mananam. Mananam. I have received, whatever I have received from my teacher, whatever I have received from Shastra through my teacher, I have to dwell upon it and make it sure that it is a fact for me. It is acceptable to my intellect. This teaching is acceptable to my intellect. There is no difference at all in my understanding and my life conviction. This is the fact. It's called conviction. Knowledge and conviction should go together. Not information, but transformation. Then the last sadhana in Jnana Yoga is, third one is Nididhyasanam, contemplation, assimilatory sadhana. Internalization of the teaching. Internalization means Vivikta Sevi Lagvasi. You have to sit like that cow, mad. உட்கார்ந்து masticate the food, munching the food மாதிரி I have to internalize. எப்போன்னா when everything is nice, you cannot internalize. அப்போ நமக்கு அது ஞாபகமே வராது. At the time of crisis, I have to invoke, I am Atmaswarupam, I have no problem at all. Na dveshaha, na mitra, na bandhu, na guruhu, na sishya, nothing is there. I am Atmaswarupam. That time you have to invoke the teaching, whatever you have heard. And Lord Krishna concludes this topic with Sarva Dharman Parityajya. 66th shloka. He says, here Sarva Dharman Parityajya means you give up all dharmas, means, see, karma sannyasa means no one can give up karma, really speaking. Wherever karma sannyasa comes, karma phala sannyasa, give up attachment towards the results of that action. நான் இவ்வளோ பண்ணிட்டேன், அவனை பண்ணினேன், இந்த ரிசல்ட் வேணும், அந்த ரிசல்ட் வேணும். Never have any idea towards them. That is called karma phala sannyasa. That is called dharman parityajya. That is the real inner meaning. இன்னும் சொல்லணும்னா தேக அபிமான தியாகா. alone is called sarva dharma parityaga. தேக அபிமான தியாக, புத்திர அபிமான, புத்திரி அபிமான, பதி அபிமான, மாமனார் அபிமான, மாமியார் அபிமான, சோதர அபிமான, சோதரி அபிமான, all these abhimanas give up, have abhimana on Bhagavan. World dependence to God dependence, God dependence to self dependence, self dependence to independence, swatantram, anandam. Illana why have to hold on to these all these things in our, but use them, okay? Don't run away from them. You cannot. You need not also. You need not run away. You have strengthen your mind. You have to strengthen your mind. That is what Shastra is giving here. Mamekam sharanam vrajan, Bhagavan said. So, all dharmas belongs to the body. Abhimana you give up, Arjuna. And you, Mamekam sharanam vraja means you surrender to me alone and anartham here. Aham tva sarva papebhya, ante dehatma bhavana you give up. Identify with dehi atma. Mamekam sharanam vraja means you surrender to me and not Vasudeva Krishna, Devaki Krishna, Radha Krishna. You surrender to me means you surrender to your own Atma Swarupam. Dehi, Atma, I am. Surrender to that Atma. Why you are surrendering to local people? We are surrendering to local people and getting into trouble. Nobody is a cause for our sorrow. Remember, all the time. So we always find out some scapegoat, always to blame others. Adhila oru anandam. Shastra says, never blame others. For your sorrow, you are the cause. For your ananda, you are the cause. Pujya Swamiji says, you are the problem, you are the solution. Okay, recognize that. Fifth topic from 67th shloka onwards up to 78th shloka. This is the last topic. Lord Krishna is, what type of a student is eligible to study this? A teacher has to be very careful when she is teaching this Bhagavad Gita to the students. A teacher should not teach to all students. A teacher is one who teaches this Vidya is really a favorite for me, Arjuna. So dear to me, that teacher. I am so close to the Lord, he says in Bhagavad Gita. Who is she is propagating, about my teaching. Therefore, I like that teacher. Definitely that teacher get jnanam, mukti, jivan mukti. What about students? Students also, a minimum they get Swargaloka, maximum jivan mukti. Vanda, at least 2. Nashtam illa. Either you are qualified, you will get jivan mukti. Suppose you are not qualified, you will get Swargaloka. Okay. So what are the qualifications to whom this teaching should be given? Lord Krishna said, tapasana. A life of discipline. A disciplined person only is qualified. To that student only the teacher should teach. That's why so many values we talk in that class also. Self-discipline. Then second is bhakti, devotion towards the Bhagavad Gita, towards Shastra, towards the Guru. Lot of bhakti is required. Devotion is required. If the devotion is not there, that student cannot get the benefit of the teaching. Therefore, devotion is important. Then third qualification is Shraddha, deep faith. Without Vedanta, Guru Vedanta Vakyesh Vishwasa, Shraddha is not there, that learning remain as an information. That person's inner, what you can call, inner disturbance will not go. Until the disturbance subsides, it dissolves. Therefore, we never say we solve the problem by teaching Bhagavad Gita. I never say, I am going to solve all your problems, you come to my class. No teacher can say, no Vedanta teacher can say, I solve your problems by teaching Bhagavad Gita. I teach Bhagavad Gita only to dissolve your problems, not solving. To dissolve the problem means you recognize there is no problem. That's all. Your intellect will get such a capacity to recognize or discover. Really, there is no problem to solve. There is only situation. Situations, I handle them, but they are not problems. This capacity the teaching gives to me through my Guru. Therefore, the teacher also give this mental strength to the student to face the crisis. Never think all problems will go away if I see Swamini. That is true. All problems will go when all problems dissolve. There is no solving, it is a dissolving. இருந்ததானே சால்வ் பண்றதுக்கு. இல்லாத ப்ராப்ளம் எப்படி சால்வ் பண்ண முடியும்? So this is what, if really problem is there, no one can cure, no one can solve. இல்லாத ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்குன்னு మనం நினைக்கிறோம், misconception. And the misconception should go. Therefore knowledge alone can remove that. For that what you require? And a deep shraddha is required. Faith is required. Shraddha illadavukku shraddhavan labhate jnanam. For that, what is the fourth qualification? Lord Krishna says, Sushrusha. Sushrusha means a deep desire for learning. Waiting for Thursday class. எப்போ வருமா Thursday இன்னும் வரலையான்னு தோணும். Thursday class வரும்போது குஷியா இருக்கணும். ஐயோ கிளாஸ் முடியறதே கஷ்டமா இருக்கணும். அப்படி இருந்தா you have got a deep desire for learning ன்னு அர்த்தம். டைமே தெரியக்கூடாது. அதுதான் sign of deep desire for learning. Then anasuya, non-critical mind, not blaming the teacher, not blaming the shastra, not blaming the culture, religion and all. This critical mind is not ideal for study. Therefore, if I have any part in my mind, that critical mind, always looking at the loopholes, negative points, slowly I have to keep aside. I have to dissolve them slowly. Otherwise, they obstruct my learning, they obstruct my assimilation. That is called anasuya, non-critical mind. Open-mindedness. Like a child, I am very simple, humble enough to my teacher and to Shastra. அப்படிப்பட்ட ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டுக்கு தான் இந்த ஞானமே வரும். That student can enjoy the benefit of knowledge. That's why surrendering to that Shastra and Guru is not a joke. Just listening will not help. Lord Krishna highlighting these qualifications to such a student, the teacher has carefully imbibe those qualities in the student and impart this teaching. With this dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna over, and finally Lord Krishna glorifies this teaching and glorifies the teacher also. And finally Arjuna comes to answer, Hey Krishna, my delusion has gone. My sorrow has gone. My shoka, my brahma, everything has gone. Now I am at your hands. At your disposal I am. Whatever you say, I will do. I'll take up this job of Kshatriya job, whatever I have to do. I'll fight in this battlefield. Now my job, I will fulfill whatever you say. This is Shreyas for me. Wherever we are, whatever profession we are doing, our housewife, or an employee or anything, happily I do my job. Bhagavan has given me right position, right place. This is what I deserve. I need for growth. This is the right place exactly. Even I thank Bhagavan. I thank Bhagavan. I never grumble on the situation, on whatever I have, everything, body, even including my parentage, my body, my complexion, my status, my education, my family, my nice child, naughty child, but my nice child, I say. I know what are all there, but I am very happy to grow in this spiritually. Therefore, this is the best, there is no right place for me than this. அப்படி சொல்லணும். அங்கே போனால் நன்னா இருக்குமோ, இங்கே நன்னா இருக்குமோ, அங்கே நன்னா இருக்கா இல்லையா, இதுதான் நன்னா இருக்கு எனக்கு அப்படி சொல்லணும். You have to love your place, you have to love your house wherever you are. Love and grow. Make your house like an ashrama. Wherever you are, that is ashrama. Wherever you are, there is God. Lord Krishna says. who says Sanjay also gives his remarks finally to Dhritarashtra. This is what Lord Krishna gave the teaching to Arjuna. Wonderful teaching, excellent teaching. Wherever Krishna is there, wherever Arjuna is there, wherever this teaching is going on, there is prosperity, there is santosha, there is sukha, ananda, there is vijayam, success also. Therefore, Lord Krishna completes his teaching, the dialogue is over. Sanjaya concludes his, I like more that Vishwarupa Darshana Yogam. Okay, you don't say like that. Okay, Sanjaya says, okay, you need not say whatever Sanjaya says. You also can have your own selection of whatever you like. So therefore, with this Bhagavad Gita, third Shatkam is over and 18th chapter is over. Bhagavad Gita entire teaching is also over. With this Tatu Tvam Asi Mahavakyam is also over. Lord Krishna says, perform Karma Yoga, be as a Karma Yogi and become a Jnana Yogi. Get Jnanam and remain happy. Ananda. Life is meant for that only. Life is not meant to be sad. I have willpower, I can make my life more joyful. No one can have right to disturb my inner peace. This is my job to clear the track. If any disturbance comes, this is my job, my responsibility to clear the track, to clean everything, all thorns in my spiritual journey. I go ahead. There is a non-stop journey. As long as I am in this body, every moment I spend for my spiritual upliftment. Everyone will have to take that decision. Life is meant for that only. Okay? Intelligent person is one who make his or her own life more and more happy. That happiness comes only through self-knowledge. Self-knowledge. Atma Jnana. Ignorance is the cause of sorrow. Because of that ignorance only, ignorance leads to a lot of misconceptions. Misconceptions are only the cause for my sorrow. So to remove sorrow, I have to remove my misconceptions. To remove my misconceptions, the misconceptions born, the cause is ignorance. The ignorance has to be rooted out. That can be rooted out only by self-knowledge. That knowledge comes only by Gita study from a competent teacher for a length of time. Therefore, with this I conclude the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of the entire Upanishadic teaching. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.